welcome to this world tour. And I am spoiled rotten because the song you just heard is from the two gentlemen in this room with me. This world tour not only features Rob, not only features me, but and features who I have said millions of times, one of my favorite guitarists out there, Mr. Tim DiJulio. So welcome to this world tour, episode 4. And guess what? Me and Rob have changed clothes.
Yeah, finally. Took us a while.
How are you gentlemen doing?
You're wearing different clothes from 5 minutes ago, so.
Yeah. Oh, I got to change.
God, it's great to see you both.
Yeah,
it's been forever, Rob. I think I've seen you once to pick up a microphone in the beginning of
we're in a band
pandemic world.
Yeah. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
But that was
Crazy.
fun hearing our music there. Can't wait to get together and do that again.
Yeah.
One of these years.
I was lucky. I went in the studio with our guy I've been recording with just recently to go over some of the old sessions, just to kind of get a punch list of stuff. And I sent him all the Robs, and I added a little guitar to some of it, and I was kind of getting the juices flowing to kind of finish some of them. Finish one or two. I don't know. Just something to do. It's just weird. It's just strange, not have a plan, Well,
yeah.
So give us a plan for something, and we'll finish one or two, or finish all of them. I don't know. We recorded them 2 years ago, right? Something like that. January 2 years ago.
It feels like we've been working on it forever. Yeah. But pandemic.
2 songs, at least Tom and Junkyard.
Oh yeah, we did.
So.
Yeah.
It's so weird. We released those 2 songs, and the CD release show was supposed to be
The next
March
show?
a year ago. Yeah. So
Because
I
we
never
did-
would have dreamed that we wouldn't be doing it, rescheduling that show for this March. And the fact is, it won't even happen until maybe 2022. So we'll see.
It was last year that you guys came on. We actually on the show we let the world hear everything.
That's right.
That's the first
right.
time I actually got to meet you, Rob, and I'll never forget that. Tim's like, "Hey, because I asked him like, well, you have these new music coming out. You want to do something?" He's like, "That's a great idea. Hey, let me introduce you to Rob." And now there's a 3-hour difference between us. So like when I get a message at like 12:30 at night, it's like what 10:30 by you or 9:30, 10:30, 11, whatever it is. So like I'm still texting. My wife's like, "What the hell are you doing texting people at 12:30 at night?" I'm like, "This is important. Leave me alone." But no, and it's crazy because those songs, I've listened to them a lot. My daughter, who's gonna be 5 soon, probably knows the words verbatim now. But it's kind of like that you guys were talking about. You recorded these 2 years ago. You haven't really played with them yet. There's a lot of artists that have put music out that's not even ever been played live, period, that no one's ever heard live. So it's like that desire as fans to hear those live is like, we just want to be able to hear it just as much as you guys want to play it. It's this weird like round robin, but hey, get your vaccinations. Let's get this shit under control so that I could see my friends on stage and we can all live happily ever after.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I that sounds good to me.
Tim and I were
been
joking
too
about
long.
that, like, hanging out at the Rite Aid or whatever, flirting with the pharmacist to kind of, hey, what's going on? Hey, you think maybe I could sneak in there?
Well, that happened with that's no joke. It happened to one of my best friends, Rebecca. Her friends, a mutual friend of ours, was just buying some freaking Pringles at Bartell's Drugs, and pharmacist came and said, "I got to throw 4 of them away. Who wants them before I end up closing?" He was just buying Pringles, and he ended up with a back, ended up getting one, So I'm just kind of hanging out there at 11 o'clock every night, just like, I need some gum. I need some gum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And more
really
gum. But he goes, how much? I keep ordering the same pack of gum, and the woman there's like, what?
There's a shortage of wintergreen in Seattle right now. They're all
blue
Timmy
gum.
hanging out there.
It's actually blue gum.
Well, listen, guys. First, I'm really excited about you guys being here. I'm glad that you guys are healthy and safe up there. I'm glad that you got in the studio recently, Tim. I can't wait to hear everything you guys have been working on in this weird situation.
Yeah.
But tonight, episode 4 of this world tour, you're our first guest ever on the show, bringing a song to our table, I guess, of sorts, to listen to this evening. We have 4 songs this evening. We have Rob's choice, we have Tim's choice, we have my choice, and then we have a choice from Keith Winfried of the United Kingdom, who heard the show and sent us a request. And the band's from the United Kingdom.
How cool is that, right?
Dude, listen, I'm going to take a screenshot because it's unrealistic of where the show's been heard. So we use a program called Buzzsprout to do the podcast. And when the show goes out, we get analytics like weekly, gets updated. And sometimes like it's just kind of unrealistic. Like, yeah, in Johannesburg, there was 12 listens. I'm like, how am I being heard in Johannesburg? It's interesting, but then it's like, I think the idea of listening to new music, because one thing that I think you guys can kind of like agree with is like when you were younger, when I was younger, like when new music came out, one person would buy that album, they'd run together and like to a friend's house, you would listen to it and you would all enjoy it together. So that was like the fun part of like owning an album. You'd pass the sleeve around, even a CD, you'd pass it around, look at the linear art and try to like, you fall in love with it that way.
Oh, for sure.
And that's kind of not there anymore. Like that's just not like a lot. The younger generations, everyone listens to a popular song, and most artists are only, and newer artists are only making that one song. They're not really doing albums per se for the younger generations.
Rob and I talk about that all the time. Just the album, picking up an album, the line. You wouldn't know. You couldn't find too much information about some of your artists unless you were buying, a magazine. You had to wait every Tuesday at the newsstand for Kerrang or Cream, and then you'd read the liner notes. That's how you knew about the bands. There wasn't, and there's a kind of it became just kind of a mythology. There would be kind of it just fed into the whole thing. And then there's the album art and all of that just would kind of feed into the band and who they are and what they were and the mystique. I guess I was trying to the word I was looking for, but I love that. I miss it completely. So
I think every birthday gift I've ever got from Tim has been an album.
Really?
Cool, like a classic album that he'll be like, "Do you have this?" And I'll be like, "Oh no, I don't have that one." And sure enough, it's like, "Here you go, buddy."
Exile, and I got you. On your 40th, I got you the vinyl, the remastered of Song Remains the Same. I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. House of the Holy. Yeah.
Or House of the Holy. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
But like I said, that's like I remember doing that with my friends. Like I remember grabbing. I remember going to listening parties at record stores and listening to an album. So I think that like this show, in theory, and maybe I'm tooting my own horn I don't know, but like we are listening to music for the first time together. Everyone's bringing something to the table, and then everyone that's listening is listening to that song for the first time as well. And it's kind of like they're putting their opinions in there in the car or wherever, and it's doing well. So thank you to all the people that have listened so far. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Tim, for being on the show. And I say we get this show on the road.
Let's get it going. Interesting enough, right now we are snowed in Seattle. And so my choice is going to be a Seattle artist because I ain't going anywhere. The funny thing about this choice, funny is not the right word, but the interesting thing is I'm not actually like plugging a band that I've gone out and seen a bunch of times and freaked out on or anything like that. It's kind of a different story. There is a connection to Timmy as well. Joel Myers is in this band. He's in like 20 bands. I mean, if you count them all, he's one of those guys that I thought was going to be drastically affected by the shutdown because he was in so many groups and playing so many shows with so many groups, and that was his life other than working with Tim at the pub that they worked at the time. And he's one of my
favorite musicians. I've had a musical crush on him
for
quite some time.
Amazing. Just he's everything, incredible. Guitar, bass, drums, singing. He's awesome. So in this band, he's the bass player. And he'd given me, I bought a CD from him at the pub. I was at the pub one time. And he's like, yeah, my one of my bands has a CD, just came out, we're selling it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'll buy one. And I swear to God, I brought it home, put it in my glove box, and I've never seen it again. I don't know what the hell happened to it. And it's been a couple of years. It's like since that all went down. And so when we were talking about new music, I was kind of thinking of new music, and I go, that band, what were they called that he was in? And I looked them up. The band's called Santee. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, Santee. And the song, I just went back and listened to him on Bandcamp and just was absolutely blown away and was thinking I would have been totally jamming this CD for months and months. The song is Yes Enemy, and I asked a little bit about the band to Joel, and he says that this songwriter is Heather Lope. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name right either. He just spelled it for me, and her brother's in the band as well. Spence, let's see, forget, or maybe he's partly in the band. I don't know. But there's also another mutual friend of ours named Connor who recorded it and played drums on it. And it's just, that's the connection there. And I heard this first song right off the bat, and I was just like, damn, this would be perfect for the show. It's just really, really great indie rock,
All right. You ready? You ready for me to press the good old triangle play button?
Let's rock it.
Here we go.
Just laying on the ground, waiting for the park is dark and it's raining. Everyone is hiding. I just got a message that I don't wanna read, 'cause I already know it's nothing but no. The rain says no and the park says no, and you're the master of no. Everyone, yes and no, me. Yes and no, everyone. Yes and no, me. Yes and no. I know we're not supposed to, but let's hang out. Everyone else is really boring. We could lay on the ground and talk about how they made the TV. But you just say no 'cause you always say. You just say no 'cause you always say. 'Cause you're the master. Everywhere. Yes and no, me. Yes and no, everyone. Yes and no, me. Yes and no, me. Yes and no, me.
Right on.
You know what's crazy is I just thought of somebody it reminded me of when I was listening. Her voice is killer. Her voice reminds me a lot of Jenny Lewis when she was in the band Rilo Kiley. Do you guys know that
Oh,
band
cool.
at all? They were an LA band that was, I don't even know if you guys know who Jenny Lewis is, but I guess she was an actress when she was more of a kid. And then LA girl. And then she was in Rilo Kiley. They became this big indie band. And then she went solo, and now she's kind of tours all around in solo. Well, no one tours around now, but she's kind of a big deal I guess she's more country-ish now or something. I don't know. Yeah, but anyways, yeah.
Cool.
What'd you think, Tim?
Well, a lot of things stand out. First of all, the drum sounds on that song track are fantastic. They're like old school 70s kind of. I love as far as production, I love how intimate her voice is right up front, really dry, and there's so much wet. The guitars and and all the effects have a lot of reverb and I love how it starts. The melody kind of establishes, and it doesn't just come in like with bass. It kind of comes in haphazardly, kind of like a stumble, like a circus a little bit, like stumbles in and all of a sudden it just kind of, the drums all of a sudden kind of rise up and boom, and it kind of takes over. I thought that was a cool hook, and it was very interesting, and the song is great. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. The one artist that came to mind is a group out of Baltimore, Maryland called Beach House. They're in that same dreamy kind of vocal tones, similar to the singer. Yeah, it was a very dreamy song. I loved, Tim, you right on the money about like that stumbling of like how things would come in at different times, and like it was excellently put together. It was good. The one thing I do love about this is, and me and Rob joked about this on one of the episodes, is about like how people listen to music and how they bob their head, how differently all three of us were able to bob our head differently to that song. Was great. It was something, but no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Great voice. I love the different percussions in the band. It sounded really good. I dug it. This is something that I'll definitely go back to and listen to more of.
Yeah, there's a lot more of too. Yeah, it's great. I think it's like is it 7 or 8 songs? I don't know. I'd have to look again, but that, like you were saying, Tim, though, the old school reverb sound, almost like a spring reverb, like almost like where you kick it and it just such a
no, yeah, that's like you're like on the verge of like that splash. It was on the verge. All of a couple of those instruments are on the verge of that overdone splash that you would hear in like a Dick Dale or kind of a 60s. Exactly. But it wasn't quite there. But yet the song is not that. The song is totally. It's got its own. Its own style. But it uses some of those old some of those tones and vintage. Which I dug, and it's just Joel. Joel is such a
Joel's a bass player. He's killer.
We both had like 5 or 6 projects going at once, and we would be at the pub. We were both, it was just one of my favorite jobs I ever had is working at that little pub that doesn't exist anymore. And it was myself and Joel and just 3 other people. It was just 4 employees basically that ran this little thing, and we just listened to we taught each other different stuff, listened to different music. But he was just he's so talented.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
So talented.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good choice, Rob, to start us off the show again.
Thank you.
Don't let us down. Now, for the first time ever, we bring a guest on.
I didn't know I was the first guest. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, listen. If we were going to bring a guest in and made it special,
was that on the other show? Was that on the? Wasn't he? Or did you, Richard?
Richard on? Richard. I did an interview with Richard. So we did an interview with Richard a couple weeks ago. And we talked about you too during the interview. But yeah, Rich, God, he's another man full of like vast knowledge and stories and it's
small world.
He's
a genius. Yeah, that guy's an amazing songwriter too. Just killer drummer.
Well, yeah,
we're talking about the same Richard, right? Steve Rude?
Yes. Yeah. He was a drummer. He was a drummer back in the day. He always wrote songs, and then
he's amazing. And
to see him the last several years, 10, 15 years, really starting to do his own solo songs and play, piano. And I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of try to stay off Facebook and social medias. The only reason I go on Facebook pretty much daily is to see if Richard posts something, because he's so funny and he's always artistic.
Hilarious.
I mean, he'll set his drums up in the woods, like he's gonna play a rock show, like he's like 1967. He's in the Who, it's insane. He gets a suit on. He goes, it's just so Keith Moon, and just he's such a badass. And
he really
love him.
He really is.
We used to be roommates back in the day. And
cool.
Back in the 90s heyday. And anyways, but he's a good dude.
Yeah, he really is. Maybe that should be someone we reach out for a guest on the show next.
Oh, I'm telling you, yeah, he's great. I mean, him and I become kind of like song sharing buddies. Like he'll send me a random song. Hey, dude, got a new one. He'll send me it. I'll be like, oh, dude, this is great. And then I'll go, hey, bro, got another one. He'll be like, oh, cool, thanks. It was great. Love it. And we'll, kind of tell each other what we like or whatever about it. The first time I met him was touring with Timmy. We were down in Oakland, and he came to the show. And just I instantly was like, this guy is awesome. I just like this guy a lot instantly. It's like one of those guys you just know right away. This guy's badass.
Yeah,
so.
Such a good guy.
It might have been because he said that I was. Who did he say? I was like, he's like, you're the little brother of. Oh God,
Chris Robinson.
Yeah, Chris Robinson. He's like, you're Chris Robinson's little brother. I'm like, woo! I'll take it.
Yeah, that show was maybe my favorite. That was a fun little road trip, but that Oakland show was fantastic. It seemed like the crowd was killer, and we met some great Bradley, who you introduced me to from was it Bye Bye Blackbird is the name of his band? Bradley
Oh yeah,
friend
yeah.
Of yours? You introduced me to him, and now I do kind of the same. We message all the time, and it's not
cool.
just
he's awesome. Yeah.
We have so much. It's like you would not believe what a old school like he's into Humble Pie, UFO, all of those bands too.
Wow.
Besides all the Brit pop stuff that you and I are into, he's into that old school like
You know
hard
what?
rock stuff.
I'm gonna have to bring one of his songs on the show sometime because his band is killer. They're San Fran band to like get me out of Seattle a little bit. You know?
Going down south.
Yeah.
All right, now Tim, you ready for this? Why don't you tell us a little bit about the song and artist you're bringing to the table for your pick?
Yeah, well, I was a little stumped. Like I usually see new bands from going out. You know, I don't. I had a lot of picks that were maybe unknown, that were not mainstream, and I go, well, that's cheating. Like UMI has been around forever, and Sloan, and I was gonna pick Jason Isbell, but he's signed. So anyway, so I chose another Seattle artist who I know really well, is a dear friend, and he has a solo record coming out March 3rd. And oh my God, the title! I left it. It's called the Central Sound, and he recorded it over the last year or so. Produced by a guy named Jeff Fielder, who is an incredible guitar player and musician in town, and engineered by Eric Eagle. And he's got just this. Where's the band? He's got a lot of friends filling in, doing stuff, and I'm not sure if these members all be the same band, but Mike Busberger played some drums on it. Besides Eric Eagle, he had Andy Stoller on bass. Kathy Moore played piano and guitar.
Kathy's great.
Oh my God, Faith, Jen Ayers, all these incredible. There's more. So it's got, and they're not all on every song, but they're just different mix match. And Sean plays piano. He's in a band called Strong Suit. He also plays in a band with me called Halloween for the last 20 plus years, doing all Queen songs every Halloween. And he's
the only guy in town that could really do that for a full show, I think.
Yeah.
I can handle a Queen song for like one song, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I can't do it anymore. My throat hurts.
Anyway, he's really influenced by Stevie Wonder, and he's got such a vast, anyways,
he's great. Killer voice. So
this is cool. This whole record. Anyways, the record's coming out. I picked a song on it because I played on it.
So cool. Yeah, bringing your own stuff on.
I couldn't help it anyway. So I didn't. I only played the solo. I didn't play the rest of the song. But
cool.
I think Kathy Moore played some piano on there, and Jeff Fielder played some guitar. I'm not sure exactly who did what on it, but this is my first time hearing the final mix on the record. I only heard it when I recorded it, so I have no idea what they did.
Excited to hear this.
All right, so
this is a preview. Go. This has never been played on a show, right?
Yeah, and Strong Bass is incredible, and record will be out soon. So
this is Sean Bates, and this is, I believe, correct, but it's EYE.
Yeah, I Believe in Love is the name of the song. Okay. I'm not sure if this is the single or not, but I just picked it. So
all right,
record's great.
Here we go.
When I lay on my back and see the perfect lines of your frequency, all the chances we couldn't take, all those dances and masquerades, but I'm up here in the Central Sound. I'm the one always looking down. Listen for me when you turn around, and I'll be the one who believes in love. I believe in love. I believe in love. I believe in love. Get on your knees to Commander-in-Chief, the one who steals all your relief. He pushes you beyond belief, hoping for the cure. But I'm up here and I can see his maze, the labyrinth of corporate decay. Let me lead you out of the haze. Take my hand. I believe in love.
Nice.
That is really
Very cool.
Yeah.
Sean Bates.
Builds it up. Yeah. You know what it kind of made me
Also,
think of a
one
little bit?
thing- Oh,
Go ahead.
No,
No, go ahead. Say.
Well, just saying that I forgot to say, I think the record, from what I was told, is this tells a story. So this is the last song on the record. So it tells, I don't think it's an opera or anything, a rock opera, but it lyrically it tells a story, songs 1 through 10. So I don't, that's all I know, but I haven't listened to the whole thing yet. So
The way that it built with the band and the soul and the energy, kind of made me throw back to early Lenny Kravitz almost. Kind of that, you know, how you have those really kind of repeating choruses that would loop in the whole band, and then the guitar would just be like going crazy, but it still was sort of a ballad and soulful. It was like all those elements together. I liked it. It was really cool.
Well, it's interesting because it's when you take simplicity with the lyrics, which are very simple lyrics, and generate beautiful vocals and excellent guitar solo.
Right.
A cheers to that.
Hell yeah, man.
You know,
signature.
It really was. That song wrapped up. It's like a burrito. The perfect ingredients all together.
Nice.
Wrap it up together. Take a bite. It tastes great. It was a great. I really enjoyed it, and it was interesting that you said, Tim, that this is going to be like almost like a rock opera. Like the whole album tells a story, because you did feel like there was something to it, that like there was more to it, like this was part of something more grand. And it excites me that you know, we get to hear it before a lot of other people, because now I'm excited about wanting to go out and listen to the rest of it to kind of find that whole story that revolves around, you know, the front and back end of this song.
Yeah, this song in particular, I think they were going kind of for, you know, early Bowie, Queen, that, you know, they asked me to play that kind of loud rock and roll guitar. I know there's a lot of dance, and there's some different stuff on this record. There's a lot of, it's very soulful. He's really, really influenced by Stevie Wonder and stuff. So it's all over. I think it's all over them. From some of the other tracks I heard, just little bits of, it's all over the place. So this was kind of a rock and roll kind of 70s rock song that ends the record. So
nice.
Tim,
anyways,
I have a question for you though.
His vocals are fantastic.
So Tim, you've been, now since I've known you for a couple of years, you've been a part of a lot of great bands and pieces and stuff like that, and you do things. So at some point they're gonna have to erect a statue in the middle of Seattle with like your face and every band that you've been a part of.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I've been like, last several years I've been really lucky with great projects and because I'm so busy. That's been the hardest part. Like, you know, that you talked to Rob, really talked about Joel. It's like,
yeah, you were at the same level. Yeah, you did a lot of stuff.
Two of the bands are like seasonal. Halloween was just I took all of October. You know, I played twice a week.
Flight to Mars, and then the Beatles thing, and
I have a new thing. The Beatles thing, and that band has some spin-offs that we're the Smash band. So we've got that, and then I've been backing up Danny Newcomb here and there. And the Embers are busy.
And Smash, all kinds of stuff, man. You're just
that's Beatle band. Machine. Kind of house band for Smash and some other artists.
Oh, and then the Mother Love Bone stuff.
Oh yeah, we did I think Karaoke. I just did a track for Karaoke. Just recorded, you know, a home studio thing we did a Cure song. I don't know if it's hopefully come out. I think we're gonna have to film some performances like individually, but they're gonna put something together.
Wow, dude, it's
anyway, so I don't know. I guess this year's been weird. I had nothing, and then October hit. This last October, I had a chance to play 3 or 4 different to record, you know, safely with a couple of different engineers and producers, just one-on-one, record on some tracks. So it disappeared. It was like, hey, that's my life. Hey, there it is. There's my life, and then it kind of goes away.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that this is all working out and everything's making sense a little bit to, you know, bring some, you know, I guess reality back to things, or I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but bringing it back to normal of some sort. But dude, but here's the one thing I love too about, like, especially with a lot of the musicians I met out of Seattle, is there's a lot of quantity when, like, hey, I'm in a lot of bands, but the quality factor still matches that quantity. Like, you don't, you know, like everything I've heard that you know, even Rob, you sent me a lot of things that you've done. Hey, listen to this. It's different. Like everything matches that quality across the board. Like it's always equally done, equally good. It's always good stuff. So I've always enjoyed that process and of listening to music coming out of the Pacific Northwest, because it sounds like everyone, they care about what they're putting out. So
there's a ton of musicians in this town, but you know what? There's a ton of quality. Yeah, this town's lucky. I mean, we're not known, like we're not in Nashville, we're not LA, we're not kind of that kind of thing, but the people that are playing here are serious about it and very talented, tons of talent.
And that's the thing too, and Rob and I have kind of spoken about this, like some of our peer groups, people we
play with, people who played on like Sean's record or like Joel, we've all been playing now for people are still doing it. We've been playing for 20, 30 years. So
Yeah.
the quality of musicianship, everyone listens to each other and knows when to not, we know when to not play. And, we all know it's about chemistry. It's not so much about who can play, how good of a musician they are for each musician. It's all about chemistry, and that's the stuff of being a band. I excites me, is put that together. And I don't know, it's I'm very lucky we know some cool people.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah, it's great, and I appreciate the being cool enough or lucky enough to be able to talk to you cool people. So thank you for that. But
Hey, man, you're the cool one here.
hell no, that is incorrect. That is incorrect.
The other thing about this town that's pretty cool, though, is that the musicians on the higher level that are on the top of the mountain have no problem playing with the ones that are a little bit lower down and stuff like that. They lift them up. They do projects with them and stuff like that. Like Tim's done some recording with Duff. I mean, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, we have been standing in the Pacific Northwest for the last 2 songs.
Yeah, it's time to take a trip.
We are going to jump in a plane, and we're going to fly to the East Coast, to New
Let's do it.
Jersey. We are
There you
now in
go.
New Jersey. Now, let me tell you about this band in New Jersey. I have talked about them in the past a little bit. I've interviewed them in the past. This band is called Jackson Pines.
Okay.
This band makes me want to grab my pickup truck keys and go for a ride in the country. It gives me my Virginia roots a little bit.
Cool.
I found out about this band because they were supposed to play the See Here Now festival last year with Pearl Jam. That show got postponed. I did some stuff with them, but they have a new album coming out soon. But they have this one song that just, I don't know, it tugs at my heartstring a little bit.
Okay.
It's done really well. These guys are really good people. The lead singer's got a great voice. The lead singer lives in Philadelphia now. The rest of the band still live in Jackson, which is hence the reason they're called Jackson Pines. But this band's called Jackson Pines. The song we're listening to is Now or Never. So
Okay.
I will let you all listen to it now.
Let's jam it.
It's gonna be a long, long road. God knows it's gonna be tough. No one ever said that it'd be easy, but we got no choice but to put the car in drive and face our fears, trying to seize them. Oh, baby, it's now, now, and never. Oh, no, it's now, now, and never. But we gonna have to try to stay up nights when it seems way worse than it is feeling. But if we don't give up, I know we won't fall. As long as we can keep on dreaming. Oh, baby, it's now, now, and never. Oh, Lord, it's now, now, and never. We could have it all together. Oh, baby, it's now, now, and never. We could have it all. Baby, it's now, now, and never. Lord, is now, now, and never. We're gonna have it all. Oh, together. Oh, baby, it's now, now, and never. Oh, baby, it's now, now, and never. Oh, Lord, it's now, now,
always enjoy music that makes you feel something, right? Like when you listen to a song for the first time and it makes you feel something. I told this to you, Rob, numerous times. Like, you've sent me music and I'm like, dude, that made me feel a certain way. Like and that's what made. And when I first heard this song, I don't know. It just there was like an emotional like heart, like tug on the heart. I don't know what it was. I don't even know what this.
Yeah.
And it's when I talked to them, I didn't even know what the hell the song's about, because it could be about a dog or something, or a cat or a mouse, or it could be about anything, and it would just kind of like take away what you actually interpreted. And actually, Tim, we've talked about that too. It's like when you get the meaning of a song, sometimes it kind of like it takes away from like the person's listening to it. So sometimes that mystery behind it kind of like makes it kind of unique to each person. And I dig that.
It's called your heart. It injects straight into your heart, and that's what music does. You know, that's why it's so special and so connects people. You know, I mean, that's where it's a feel. You feel it, and it moves you, and it takes you somewhere. It can take you on a journey, or it can make you feel sadness, or make you feel happy, make you want to dance. It should just enter your body and absorb it. You know, that's. Yeah.
I want the keys to Anthony's truck now, because I want to take a drive and jam that, because that's how I feel.
Cool tune.
Reminiscent of the first time I ever heard, like, I think it was Tim. You had like a wedding disc, and it was like Ryan Adams was on somewhere in the beginning of it.
Adams,
and it kind of made me feel the same way when I first heard Ryan Adams for the first time. Just like, oh, this is really cool. Just really acoustic driven. Really good vocals. Great melody and great hook. It's a great song.
Yeah, reminded me a little, it was a lot like Brian, but Jesse Malin had a little bit of that vibe.
Okay, yeah.
Jesse's new record has got a lot of piano and acoustic, and that's on the same kind of arrangement. It's cool, it was
very cool.
Very catchy and right up my alley, and our country ass rootsy stuff is,
Well, I feel like that section of country's changed a little bit, because I feel like country's like absorbed into like, at one point everything was just classified as country. Now there's like Americana, there's like this pop country, like it's separated itself to like what was all country. Like when Garth Brooks was popular, that was like country.
That was a different thing. Yeah,
it was a different thing. Nowadays, like this, I think it's Americana, grassroots, like a Ryan Adams, alt country, like this, this is very much in that feeling. Like the artist, like it's an acoustic, the bass player plays an upright bass, like it's very southern. It's great.
Uncle Tupelo kind
of. They're recording new stuff now that's coming out soon, which shameless plug on my end. They're going to be doing the world premiere on this show. Well, not this show, but one of my shows down the road, which I'm very excited about. I just found that out yesterday.
Very cool.
So they're a great band. This album, Purgatory Road, I would highly recommend going and listen to. It's good stuff.
I will, for sure.
So now,
Jackson Pines.
Jason Isbell's new record. He was in the Drive-By Truckers. Have you heard that record yet?
Yes.
You dig it. It's right up your alley.
I need to check that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's crazy that how much good music's come out over the last year, and like when you hear music, like it like prepares you to hear it live. Like you're getting ready to like you're listening to it, you're absorbing it because you're like ready to like sing it live or catch that song live. Like I always believe like music's almost like a collector. Like when I listen to like, for instance, prime examples like either My Morning Jacket or Pearl Jam last year, my two favorite albums that come out last year. Like I listened to those songs and I was like, I want to hear them live. I want to sing these songs with the band, and not having it's kind of weird, but there's been so much good stuff down this pipeline. It's interesting. But we get to do the most interesting part of the show, where it's a song none of us have picked. This is from Keith Winfried, from the United Kingdom.
Cool.
He is recommending we listen to a band called, and I'm going to butcher this name, but it's Harlea. Supposedly he described it as a punk rock alternative band out of the United Kingdom. The song's called Miss Me. Now, when I did some research on this artist online, she doesn't have a large social media following, about 2,200. But on Spotify and on iTunes, it did show that she was streaming pretty popularly. Like I guess she does have a loyal fan base.
Great.
I've never heard the song. Tim's never heard a song. Rob's never heard a song. So this is a first for us. So here we go. This is I'm gonna say it's Harley out of United Kingdom. This song is called Miss Me. I would say, I'm going to speak out of tune a little bit. I would say 4 times in a row, the fans have done pretty well for themselves.
Oh, they have. They're killing it. That hit hard right out of the gate.
Yeah, it was the bass playing on that, like the effect on the bass. I'm assuming that's the bass. The way that heavier, the sound right behind the guitar. That it was the fullness of it. Her voice, that like the dreaminess over that very rocking sound. The guitar playing, the filling, the volume, and everything. Like I was kind of nervous because if you look at the album cover, which I don't know if you can see on your screen.
It's pretty small, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like someone like a girl coming out of like a ripped cover or something.
Oh yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah. So it's different. I was like, this might be the first time that we're like, we're gonna listen. Like, all right, this is just not our cup of tea.
It was cool, man.
It was really good.
Fuzz. I think it was a fuzz. It sounded like they had some solid fuzz on the guitar. It was cool, man.
Yeah, one thing about first production, another thing that stood out was just the drums.
Yeah,
that room mic, whatever they're using, it sounded so big and huge, and there's a lot of stuff in there. You heard a little like some, but nothing fought with each other. Everything was layered perfectly. Yet it was really powerful and energetic. And
her voice when it started out kind of sultry and soft, and then it just kicked into like kick your ass. I love that when the dynamics like that, when and she has a killer voice, so it helps. So when someone, I love that sort of whispery, soft stuff, and then just start belting, when the time is right,
That's right. No,
cool.
This was a good one. I really dug this. I know she has a couple of other albums out. I'm curious if they're all similar to this. I'm definitely going to investigate this afterwards.
Yeah,
but
my curiosity is piqued.
Yeah, like this is the interesting part of the show. It's like finding that new music.
Yep.
To get you out of listening to some other stuff, to get you into other things. I mean, listen. I mean, out of everything tonight, there's 3 bands that I've never heard before that I'm going to go back and listen to. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Sean Bates coming out in a couple of weeks and listening to that whole album coming together and how it's put together. The Santee, I'm going to go back and dig into that. And this Harlea, which I'm probably butchering her name. It's probably some United Kingdom way of saying it that's probably better than my terrible American accent. But yeah, no, Keith, great choice. I really appreciate the selection.
Yeah.
So now comes the sad part where we wrap all of this shit up.
Yeah. Boy, it's been fun, hasn't it?
All right, guys. Well, listen, this is episode 4. I really appreciate this. If you enjoyed the show, I would highly recommend tuning into our past shows. We're on Spotify, iTunes, and starting April 1st, the big news, April 1st. I didn't even tell Rob this.
Oh.
The Touring Fan Live will now be not exclusively, will be also on the SiriusXM iTunes, SiriusXM platform on the app. So if you have SiriusXM, if you go to their platform and search the Touring Fan Live on the SiriusXM app, this will be a part of it as well. So check us out there, and we'll be a part of that whole catalog of stuff. Also, Tim, which is below me. Look, I actually know this, which is below me on the screen or hearing the voice. Listen, check out his stuff. Tim is, and I'll say this a million times, I know Tim will disagree with me, but if it came from the mouth of Mike McCready and it's coming from mine, it's got to come to something. One of the greatest guitarists I've ever seen live. I loved him so much. I'm so grateful every time he's on the show. I think he's an amazing human being. Look him up online, see everything he's doing. And then Rob Benson, God, if that guy doesn't put out a new song once a week, that is just gonna hit you in the heart, hit you in the soul.
How about once a day?
And the shit's good. That's another one where quantity meets quality. Well, guys,
I gotta say one thing. I said tease, Rob kind of behind his back when people ask me, "Who you play with us guys?" Rob Benson. He rents an album a weekend. It's like I got on my controller, my Xbox, and after I've played all week in different bands, and Rob will just, "What's Rob doing?" "Oh, he wrote a new album." It's like, and I'm supposed to go through all this stuff. Say, "Hey, maybe Embers can use some of this stuff." I go, "It's all genius. It's all good."
Oh, you're too kind, brother.
No, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. I appreciate your time. You can check out more information about this show and all the other shows I'm a part of. You can go to www.thetouringfanlive.com for all of our upcoming schedules and shows, which is a new website. Check us out everywhere where podcasts are found, on our YouTube channel, everywhere. I'm everywhere. I'm Anthony. That's Rob. That's Tim. And you've just listened to our world tour.